Is it just me, or is 2020 the worst year in new releases? Whether or not you're talking about music or video games, 2020 has not exactly been a year to write home about. And when all you're doing 6 months into the year is writing from home, that's not exactly a good sign of things to come. I have reviewed 2 albums from 2020. Just a mere 2. And that's after almost 2 months of doing this again. And that's not exactly a good sign, because there's actually been quite a lot of albums that have been released in 2020, but pretty much none of them are noteworthy. A lot of them are live albums, or albums that I've never heard of, or bands that I've never heard of, and there's a lot of games coming out that just meh? I don't really feel like even buying them because it's just not worth it. The only AAA titles that I've seen are Final Fantasy, that Naughty Dog game that we will not mention, and of course Assassin's Creed Valhalla, which I may end up purchasing, I may not, I don't know. I might start up the Assassin's Creed series review again because the series has found footing again on even ground. But I will say that in the years that I have stopped doing this, 2017 through 2020, there was a steady stream of new releases. You know, Seether came out with an album, Trivium came out with an album in 2017, Tremonti, we saw the return of him in 2018, and of course 2019 saw the return after 13 years with a new Tool album. I actually did a Tool discography back in the day, and I actually have to re-listen to Fear Inoculum because I haven't heard it in a very long time before I review it. But we saw the return of so many great bands, and Dream Theater, of course, I have to mention them. But in 2020, it's just been radio silence. Now, a lot of people could say that's because of COVID. A lot of things have been canceled, a lot of things have been moved around, and a lot of things have been switched to a work-from-home basis for COVID-19. And that doesn't exactly necessarily promote a lot of concert tickets, we'll say that. But as far as the new releases go, and of course the recording of the new releases for music, and the working on developing new video games, it hasn't exactly been stellar at all. What the Dead Men Say by Trivium, and Ordinary Man by Ozzy Osbourne. Those are the only 2 albums that I have reviewed in 2020. Now, I want to cover Fate by Five Finger Death Punch, and that's another one, and I may end up doing Shadow Work by Trapt, but I'm not really a Trapt fan. I kind of view them as a one-hit wonder with Headstrong, and I don't really necessarily want to get into the whole political debate again, because you guys already know how they use their Twitter account. So, there is that. But as far as new releases go, I am very underwhelmed with how this year has been playing out, unfortunately, and we're already in the month of June. What do you guys think? Has it been a less than stellar year, or are you actually satisfied with all of the albums that have come out in 2020, as well as all of the new video games? And see, that's another thing. I've really only played the Final Fantasy VII Remake coming out from 2020, and that's really the only video game that I have been interested in. All the other ones came out the last couple years, and I've been playing up on them. So, of course, then there's the Mega Man Zero/ZX collection that I just did a video on. I suppose I should include that. But those are all games that I played in my childhood. So, it's not really a new experience for me, I will say that. But as far as this year, just been 2020, the worst year in history. I will end on that note, unfortunately, but at least there is a lot of older content that I can review, I suppose, from 2016 on the way up to 2020, during these, well, let's just say really weird times that we're living in. So, final question, is 2020 the worst year for new releases, or are you satisfied with the releases that have come out this year thus far? What album or video game are you looking forward to the most in 2020? Or is there absolutely nothing that can be done to salvage this crap year? What do you guys think? This is Midnight Strike 3625. Keep calm and rock on.